Welcome back to the AI Ripple Effect podcast, everybody. Today, we are lucky enough to be joined by Lee Kirk, who's the Chief Operating Officer at NXTPoint Logistics. Lee, it is a pleasure to have you on the podcast today.
Hey, Adrian, thanks for having me. Looking forward to an interesting conversation. This is always a fun topic.
Indeed, no, I think we're going to have a great chat today. So I'd like to, if I may, ask you to give us a bit of background about your journey to where you are today at NXTPoint Logistics, and a little bit about what you guys at NXTPoint Logistics do and who your typical customers are, if you would, please.
Sure. So NextPoint Logistics, we are typically a middle market focused third-party logistics provider, but we have a very diversified product offering, and there's reasons why we've diversified that, and I'll explain a little bit. But we have a final mile component of our offering. We have a supply chain services group that's really very heavily project focused, specialized logistics services, and then we have more of a traditional 3PL that focuses on various markets, from pharmaceutical, medical devices type clients, where we actually have tons of certifications around FDA and those types of technical certifications, to food grade customers. And then in the middle to e-commerce. And then we do things around furniture, fixtures, and equipment. And what that does, it allows us to balance our portfolio. So as markets ebb and flow up and down, it level loads our business throughout the year. And that makes it it alleviates our labor fluctuations and alleviates our financial impacts, but it also allows us to maintain a core set of individuals within our operations and out in the field that are delivering services for our customers at a very high level at all times. When you see extreme swings up and down, you end up with different service levels and things that you offer. One thing that's really unique about NextPoint is we're part of the Sudeth company. So we're a 106-year-old organization. Our logistics group's over 20 years old, but being privately held, we bring a tremendous amount of agility to the table. So we don't go and design a facility and design a contract that says, here's our box, you have to fit in it with our customers. We go to our customers and understand and listen we'll see what their needs are, and then we design a solution that meets their needs. And we understand that we don't know all the information up front, so we're always evaluating and having conversations with our customers and adjusting as we go. And that helps our customers be able to offer a better solution to their end customers, whether that's an e-commerce customer or whether that's support into a manufacturing environment. So that's our breadth of portfolio. That's our really our agility and focus. And our people are the key to delivering success in all these channels. And as my job as the leader of this organization, really I remove the roadblocks, and that's what I take great pride in, is understanding what our team needs to be successful, making sure they've got the right tools, the right training, they're executing safely, because if we're able to take care of our people, then they will take care of executing in our warehouses and our service offerings, which then takes care of our clients.
Fascinating. I mean, that's a extensive breadth of both services and a customer base. Are you guys focused on any particular geography, or do you have a breadth of geographical footprint as well?
Yeah, when you look at our footprint from a NextPoint Logistics, we cover the entire United States essentially. So we have a heavy presence on the East Coast. We're headquartered out of Jacksonville, Florida, but we have operations throughout the entire East Coast, from Baltimore all the way down into Miami. So it covers that geography very tightly. And then as you start moving west from there, we have a heavy presence in the center of the United States, around the Texas markets, which is great for fulfilling everything central. And then we get into the West Coast, where we're looking to expand further, but we do have presence out in the Northwest, and then in the California markets today.
Wow, amazing. That sounds like a great operation. And across the breadth of both your customers and your geographic spread, what are you seeing, Lee, as the key market trends at the moment? I know you have an innovative arrangement with regards to tariff management with an academic institution. It'd be great to hear from that insight itself, whether you're seeing tariffs as being a key focus area at the moment, or are there more broader market trends that you're picking up?
Yeah. There's a couple of responses on that. So the first one is from a geographic presence in the United States. Obviously, population centers are important, and that's where we are focused. We focus our efforts on growth. But when you think about the inbound of goods from international origins. And then you look at the tariff impacts that have come out here, not just recently, but over time. Those have forced companies, our customers, to go and move manufacturing to different countries and move them around within Asia to going to South America to Mexico and those things. So what that means is the ports of entry into the United States to be more efficient and cost effective are continually moving. So you had mentioned our relationship with a university here locally in our headquarters city. It's in its infancy stages, but what we're doing is working with the supply chain, the graduate level supply chain program here, and we're building a program that is going to use some analytics around a project at the professor level, from the doctors that are running the graduate programs all the way to the graduate students level, that they're looking at the macroeconomics of the policies of the governments that are being elected on a global scale, not just in the United States, but globally, because tariffs are reciprocal typically. So that can mean that, an election change or a party change in one country could positively or negatively impact what happens in that country. So our customers are having to become more nimble on where they're manufacturing and shipping from, and we're having to become more nimble on where we're importing and fulfilling from to reduce the impacts of tariffs and those costs. So this relationship is we're putting together a program where we're looking at what's going on in those political trends to understand what's going to happen likely in the next election, or if this happened, these should be the triggers that we pull. If this happens, these are the levers that we should pull, and those things. And that's everything from, do we need to move and set up bonded warehouses, to setting up CT-PAT locations here or there, FTZs, and for our smaller customers, since we're middle market typically focused, and we do have smaller customers, how can we make recommendations to them? Because they may not have that analytical bandwidth or capabilities within there. So it's just another service offering for us to help them with their business.
Right. So you were an advisory in that context to some of those smaller companies regarding that uncertainty from the tariff perspective. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we advise them, and then working with the university here, we pull together that data and make it to where it's an understandable presentation to them, so they can take that and financially justify what their costs are to move things or make adjustments on their supply chain.
Right. Right. And more broadly in the market, I know there's been a downturn period over the last, say, 12, 24 months. So are you seeing any signs of an uptick? Are you seeing, and how does that translate? You mentioned that you have various different sectors you focus on, and that enables you to hedge various market fluctuations. But are you seeing a more broader uptick across the board, or are you still seeing some challenging areas?
In a market sense, for all of the 3PLs, there's been a bit of a softening of customers moving and adjusting who they're using as their providers, because of the unknowns in the tariff world and the cost to change. But within our business specifically, we've actually been on the growth side. So, and that's because of our agility. Really, we build that relationship direct with customers, and our agility to be flexible for them. We've actually been able to grow our business at several basis points ahead of what the market has been delivering, and that specific flexibility that we bring from a commercial standpoint, from a footprint standpoint, and from an overall service level has really facilitated that.
And as you're growing, then so you're on the upside of things. How are you structuring your operations? Because obviously that's your ballpark, Lee. Are you looking at using technology to focus that cost line item in your balance sheet? Is that something operationally is a key driver, or are you not necessarily having to worry about that at the moment?
We have an operational excellence team, and that team has really three callings. One is a continuous improvement and lean methodology. So we lead with that on everything we do. When we're doing solution design, when we're doing implementations, we don't want to circle back and turn all that on. We want to start the good habits in the front. So that team, uh, working with our solutions team and our sales team, understanding what the customer requirements are, we'll make recommendations and have input on the solution side. That team also has the implementation team as part of their pairing. So that's not a normal grouping together within an organization. Usually you have a PMO that does all the implementations. You have a different engineering group that does the CI and lean, but we put them together because we wanted to start all operations off. So when we go into implementation mode, the CI team is in the same organization as the implementation team, and they're bringing those lean methodologies as we're turning on operations and those things. So that's really been helpful in establishing that cost basis and management up front. And then the third component of that is the innovation group also rolls up under there. So what is the newest, latest and greatest technology from automation, software, those things that make sense for us to retrofit into our operations or to build into new operations. We have a site that'll be coming online here in the Jacksonville market that's going to have a significant amount of automation that's installed in it. Some of it's old technology, some of it is new technology. And just because it's old technology doesn't mean it's obsolete. It's tried and true. But that group really helps us focus on that cost management. There's a significant focus on labor management and using, the AI components around labor management, understanding spend, real-time notifications as to who's productive, who's not, gamification associated with that, so that our associates on the floor know how they're performing, and really making, today's culture is more of a gaming type, hands-on. I want, not necessarily instant gratification, but near real-time gratification of knowing how they're doing. And we understand that, and we're building that into our tools and how we're presenting, pick paths and performance metrics to our associates on the floor.
Wow. And you touched upon it there, certainly around the automation. I think it's a great strategy to have that integration with those teams. You touched upon the AI aspect, and it sounds as though you guys are already employing it across your organization or certainly in certain areas. But what more broadly in logistics is your view on AI as a catalyst for change? Is it going to be a positive influence in the logistics business, or do you think the uncertainty, say, for the labor market of the introduction of AI will outweigh that?
I think that so we do have it engaged in certain parts of our organization. I think that the AI components of it will allow us to become safer. It'll allow us to become more efficient in what we do, and it allow us to, as I just recently mentioned, become more employee engaged versus pushing employees out. That's a fear that people are going to lose their jobs over automation and AI and those things. I think it'll do the opposite, allow us to communicate better and become more engaged. So when you think about the labor management specifically, if we're able to let associates know how they're performing real time and reward them and give them, kudos and those things, that's a positive engagement. People will want to participate in that. But if we're also able to offer safety improvements and those types of things, where we have an innovation project we're working on this year in 26. We started in late 25. That allows us to work with an external partner where we're engaging their vision systems, where they're gaining access to our video systems within our sites, and they're looking at pedestrian and equipment traffic commingling and where there's risk and peaks and valleys and traffic periods and times, so that we can then identify, and it pushes the data to us to identify where there's collision risk and those things. So keeping our people safe, and they recognize that as a benefit from an employee standpoint for them. And it also helps us, our job is to keep our people safe. and make sure they have the tools that they need to perform their job, to execute properly. And so if we're keeping them safe, we've identified those risks as leading indicators versus trying to look at things lagging after stuff happens. And we're using the AI tools to do that.
Wow, sounds amazing. It sounds like your approach both to the operating model and adoption of technology is very forward thinking. So there must have been in your journey to where you are today and having this tight operational platform and adoption of technology, there must have been a few challenges you faced, Lee. Is there anything you can share with the audience of the podcast today around those challenges? And it would be great to hear how you overcame those.
I think that when you think about organizations, size, scope, those types of things, and the approval levels, my 30 plus year journey to get to where I'm at today, I've been fortunate to be some really, well-known organizations of a Dell and a Geodis and a Siva, NXTPoint now. And those organizations are very large, have very sophisticated people development and communication, approval plant processes and things. And so some of the learnings around how you have compliance and governance have been very beneficial because it forces you to think about things from many different angles versus just, hey, operationally, this is what we say we should do, so let's go do it. Well, there's other things from a finance and a compliance and a legal standpoint, and even states have different laws that you have to consider. So those are things that I've learned from this journey. But even internally at an organization that we are at NXTPoint, it's the communication side. So taking those learnings and really sharing what the vision is, gaining buy-in from multiple groups, anybody that is impacted or potentially impacted from some of this new technology or processes that we want to do, and sharing that vision with them and then getting their input, because we don't always consider everything that when we think we've considered all of the potential outcomes and models and everything. If we bring additional people, smart people in the room, they have different perspectives. So understanding all those perspectives through that communication channel has been really, a learning experience at every one of these projects that we do.
Amazing. That sounds awesome. And if there was anything that you would change, would there be anything? It sounds as though you have a well planned out path, but in that journey, is there anything that you would think about doing differently?
I don't know that I would wholesale change anything specific, but it comes back to that communication piece and getting the buy-in of broader groups and certain larger projects. I've had projects that we've been working on and spent, 10 months scoping and solutioning and those things. And then when we take it to the broader group, there were 15 other opinions and ideas of how it should have gone or should have done this. And if we'd have brought those groups in earlier in the process and shared the vision and the communication up front, then we would have gone a little bit different path. Some of these projects we've tabled and pushed aside because we didn't consider things that were true risk to the business. So those are kind of the things I think the more you can incorporate in the beginning without introducing so much bureaucracy that it grinds everything to a halt, the better off you are. So I think that really the vision sharing and communication and valuing the input of others and their perspective is something that we can all learn from, and especially me from that piece of it.
I think that's sage advice. Thank you for sharing. So you guys have got a tight operation. It sounds though you have a breadth of customers and markets you're looking at. What does the future hold for NXTPoint Logistics, Lee? What are you guys looking at over the next 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, so we will continue our geographic expansion. It's important for us to get heavier presence in the Midwest, heavier presence out west from a geographic standpoint. But then we're taking a very targeted market approach. And so we have three market strategies that we're going to target specifically, and that will help us focus our efforts, our sales teams, our solutions teams, and our capabilities as we go forward in 26 and beyond, on building those capabilities to be able to go and service those customers. So that's really our approach. We're not trying to eat the whole elephant, to use that analogy. We're going to take our bites off of it, and we're going to be really good at the few things that we're focused on, and we'll get those, under wraps and mature and stable, and then we'll start taking other parts of it on.
Sounds a sensible approach. Thanks for sharing. And for the folks out there listening and watching who are interested in finding out more about NXTPoint Logistics, where can they get that information, Lee?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously our website at nextpointlogistics.com. We've got, you can look at my LinkedIn profile. We're posting on LinkedIn all the time on that piece of it. We attend regular conferences and conventions and those things for our team to share information. But just reach out. That's the thing. We're always accessible. Our team, if you find us on LinkedIn or you go to our website, we have abilities to connect on our website and put in a web inquiry, pick up the phone and call us. That's how we run our organization, right? We like to have relationships with our customers, with potential customers, and that way we're doing business with people that have the same thing on the communication side and the relationship side.
Great. Well, I'll make sure that I include that information in the description of the podcast when it goes out. But for now,
Perfect.
thank you so much for sharing, Lee. It's been fascinating hearing everything about NXTPoint Logistics and the work that you guys are doing and the plans that you have. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching and listening to this episode. We will see you in the next episode of the AI Ripple Effect podcast. But for now, Lee Kirk from NXTPoint Logistics, it has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Very, very nice for the time.